Lord Jim O'Neill is an economist and former UK Treasury Minister and joins us now. Good to see you, Jim. Let's start with that last point in that piece then. In principle, is this a necessary investment given the ballooning cost that we've just been hearing about and the strain on public finances we're seeing in the UK at the moment?
I mean, I think the latter part of your question isn't directly relevant. If for long-term infrastructure projects, or it shouldn't be relevant. Worrying about what the budget consequences of it are today is really quite ridiculous, and that is part of the many issues that are dominating this. And maybe it's an issue about the complexity of democracies with elections every few years, but everything around the HS2 issue is also more broadly embellic of lots of challenges going on in the UK. But without overly complicating the start of my answer to you, I'm not the biggest fan of HS2, but given how far it's gone, if we were to no longer proceed with it, it would send a dreadful message about any long-term investment projects in the UK. And whatever the rights and wrongs about the ultimate benefits, the UK is woefully underinvested, both in the private and public sector compared to other comparable nations, and almost definitely links crucially to our very weak productivity performance.
And why do you think HS2 in particular, why this project, why do you think it's been hit by so many delays and costs?
Well, I think at the core of it are three different issues. First of all, and I'm no rail engineer, but I think technologically and technically it's very ambitious for a country as old as ours in terms of historic infrastructure. They're trying to build they'll have to build whole new lines to get it in and out of central London. That's part of the latest almost farcical discussion about some change. Secondly, even the original cost was questioned by many people who were thinking there could be better infrastructure projects for the broader benefit of more aspects of UK economic and productivity performance than just a train that gets people from London to various parts of the north and back even faster than it does now. And I happen to be somebody in that camp. And then thirdly, it's right in the middle of the extremely complicated political environment that the UK has had since Brexit, and the never-ending factions inside the Conservative Party. And for this latest story to leak in a major British newspaper on the day the Chancellor was supposed to be launching a whole new vision as to how you boost UK economic growth and investment was actually quite amusing, but also quite tragically sad, because it's dominated all the headlines and it's just kind of ridiculous.
And the Chancellor, the Finance Minister, last week said that the UK wasn't very good at delivering infrastructure projects and that this was an opportunity to try and improve that. Why is that, do you think, when compared to other European countries, for example, who've raced ahead with high-speed rail?
I think I want to just caution slightly with some part of that question that, we're not the only Western democracy that struggles on these things. The United States is notorious for problematical public infrastructure projects. Anybody that's ever gone in and out of JFK and tried to get into Manhattan would be more than aware of that, and there's many other countries too. And then secondly, and also an additional factor linked to the importance of the issue, some of those countries that have been really good at high-speed rail, Japan perhaps historically the single most important advanced nation, it's not solved their productivity challenges or growth challenges either. So the idea that this in itself is some kind of magical solution, I don't buy that. But the real core issue is how do democracies, and particularly one that's now seemingly as fragile post-Brexit as the UK managed to really have a cross-party and indeed, in this case, in the own political party consensus to push through immediately expensive projects that you won't see any benefit from way beyond the lifetime of a parliament where many of those MPs are going to be in charge. And it's a very, very difficult thing for democracies to do.